당가서 가서 딩에 진소한테네 올라서 다 대장이 중이 다 런지 좋은 어서 순사가 대장이 중이 가되게 되어서.
So as to the topic of this teaching on the these three principal aspects of the path, so we are up to the subjects of really recognizing the right listeners or the candidate for receiving these teachings.
대어다 띵엘라 체지 간에니 기위신이 됐는도 디지다. 아니 좀바도 제 간에니 린도 때다 인주쇼니 쇼주지세 요도 비타와서데 도 때츠지니 도 디소시니 시스마레스.
So the text this start with the line of paying homage, so which the includes the teachings on the on relying on the spiritual teacher, and then the first verse, which is called as the author's promise to compose. So that in this verse, so the text gives the summary of this the main subject matter, which is of course the three principal aspects of the path: the renunciation, bodhicitta, and wisdom of emptiness.
원하다 간다 년주다 쇼주지세 아니 돈이 또 비타와데니 시에위나 네다 디니 비드잘 간데 그 요리스네 지시오이나 아니 디드자데 니주와라 아니 유데 구도 스피드라 맞춰시 단조데 샤시 점바이 자와 제페라라 이데 피카데테 토토 이치니에스네 아니 유데레가 요레스.
So if the main subject matter of this teaching is on the three principal aspects of the path, then as to to those who are suitable to hear about or to listen to these teachings, then to show what kind of the qualities, qualification which they should possess, then the text we go to the next verse, which read, so those who are not attached to the joys of cyclic existence, who strive to make meaningful this life of leisure and opportunity, and who place their trust in the path that pleases the conquerors, O fortunate one, listen with an open heart.
Lama Tsong Khapa 비거니 등이 스마순사테 작업에 ngautopa koran길로마 작업에 ngautopa 순거요래 이나야 다 니니 비드자텔라 아니 가린 그거르잖아 아니 니 유인디 그 치치선도 대마지 그거래 했네 때때거래서.
So as I mentioned early on, the direct student for whom this the teaching was given was the one of the very close students of the great Tsong Khapas, Sakong Hawang Thakpas, and so but in this next verse, then for all the other listeners or those who want to study these texts, then for those, then what sort of the qualifications that they or attributes that they should possess, then in this we can say all the qualifications of the suitable listener can be put into three.
아니 체지 동보들 간대지리세나 체지 동보 예비가 다 대자 될 총거지 체지 동보때 스피 대화라 맞춰봐시 그수 말이스. 아니 대인자니 다 스피 대화스니 스파생이 때니 코와도 되지. 어떤 일이 시작해요. 대양이 다 레니지 운기슈이 니서자비 차세 니서자비 저세네 근데 아니 걔들은 뭐지 논데크티체는 어떤 수인도 있어.
So what are those for three qualifications or the prerequisites for the that one should have to for listening to these teachings? Then the first one, which you find in that first line of the verse where it says, those who are not attached to the joys of cyclic existence. So the first ones to the listener, the suitable listener are those who are not attached to the joys of cyclic existence, joys or the pleasure of cyclic existence. So the term cyclic existence, so which is also in Sanskrit is samsara, or the wheel of life, and which is a kind of existence that is overpower or control or the predetermined by the force of the karma and mental afflictions, and so that's the first the qualities of not being attached to the pleasure of cyclic existence.
제가 단 고와데 든지 있나 단 고에 대화데 가능이 세계나 아니 고에 대화데 다 시동가 저티 대야지티에 두살라니 둥가 덴비 카투라 인제비 둥가 생기죠. 다테 인제비 둥가 되시고요래. 아니 텔라니 대화시에 이때니 텔 소체치 대화스네. 페나 된다가 단다가 같이 뉴지 비거니 다 고알 코딩 구조나 지금 뉴지 비거 다 대화도 네 라총바도 자전라 소비고 뉴디 비거 다 대화도 줘요. 아니 가능은 소체치 대화레스 고에 대화레스 그거레스.
So after just briefly explaining the meaning of cyclic existence or samsara, now what is the meaning or the indication of this the word here, a joy or the pleasure of cyclic existence? So here the text when it says joy or the pleasure, so here we can it relates to the truth of the sufferings. So which with which the suffering, there are three types of sufferings, right? And of the three types of suffering, and this joy or the pleasure, so is really referring to that the suffering of change, suffering of change, and referring to that. So what does that suffering of change means is that referring to, in fact, is referred to the kind of a pleasure that we find in this this existence. And these are all called as a suffering of change because they are in suffering in nature. Likewise, in the higher realms, such as even in the god realms, like the god of like in the Brahma and the Indra, so where even though they find very high level of pleasure or joy, but that in fact is also belong to this suffering of change, and it is in the nature of suffering as well.
tel chopi chopatili to go res e deshi go res.
So the joy of cyclic existence of samsaras, so it's a form of like a contaminated pleasure or joy, and so now even though it is literally it is said here that a suitable listener should not have an attachment, should not be attached to that joy or the pleasure of samsara. So now this doesn't, it is the referring to the really to the should not have the attachment, mentally should not have the attachment to the joy or the pleasure of cyclic existence. So therefore, it really not really saying here that the the listener or those who the suitable listener then should, if you were a suitable listener, then you should be should not possess, should not have any should not have a house or should not have any wealth and possessions. It's not saying that you have to get rid of all this, your shelters and wealth and so forth. But what the implication here is you must get rid of the attachment of being so passionate about this, the worldly possessions.
제가 가서티 고알은 고제다. 아니 가서를 강에 때문에 요즘에 텔 초피 초파사는 연구요. 텔 초피 소설 초피 초파데 조지. 아니 저널 초피 초파데 가세지 초파 chewa 대전지 아니 소소소를 대노지가 아니 강에 진 최근 거. 진짜 아니 디 초파데 본 그거 하세. 되니 순고요. 그래서
so what we have to overcome what we in studying this in these teachings, so what we have to do is to try to be not attached to the joy or the pleasure of cyclic existence. And the reason is because these can be not only this prevent us from achieving liberation, but also this the attachments also brings a great deal of sufferings and problems for oneself as well.
단나가 전에 좋아지는 찍고 좋아지와라 배셔고 그래. 아니 배셔 매나는 좋아지다고 말다. 배셔 거에 제들이 내가 찍고 그래. 어떠니 공대사 공부 그래. 아니 다 내가 챙긴로라니 못하 그래. 저 강가 니 강에 진짜 드니진 주고 진짜 와이나 강에 침고 드니지 고르니 치치라 좋다고 말아. 치좋다고 말아. 맞아 단조 대치비 카들라 아니 맞아 냐와도 이달라 소발 시와이나 아니 강에 온게 그 치탱 말이세고 대노지 아니 강에 시오진 tre소나니 다뭐 체와지 시오지 메나나니 디 강에 디고 온게 그 치체 더 말아 대자니 솔리 또 그요 말에서 대송가 솔 그거다
so of course when we talking about the material conditions, such as the house, money, and so forth, these are something that we we need in order to live our life, and as well as we need to make our livelihood. We need to go to work. And then to get to the work, we may need a need a car, and so of course we need a house to live. So how without all this the good the suitable material conditions, then we can be then subject to various difficulties, problems. And so like if we look at these the teachings on the meaning and the preciousness of the human rebirth, it is very special in the sense that it gives us an excellent opportunity to achieve, to fulfill the meaning of the life. So whereas we understand in that teaching that where on the other hand, if we are born into the lower rebirth, like such as born into the fall into the hell realms or in the hungry ghosts or the preta realms. So where there's there's a intense being subject to the intense sufferings that it is not. Therefore, this falling into lower rebirth is considered as not a suitable conditions for one to fulfill the meaning or achieve the purpose of the life. So therefore, it is very we can understand very clearly that we should not be here that the focus is on when you say we should not attach to we should not attach to joy. So it's more to do with the to diminishing the attachment to the joy. So rather than the focus is on to the that we should not be relying on or not have the good material conditions.
제자네 초파 텔라 때네 다 초파 리통 주세고라 제자네 초파 텔라 때네니 아니 땅 뭐죠 강에 강 같은 애 용구요래 용이 진짜 가르스는 초파 코너로 뒤져지래 님비네절로 중보 땅이지 말에 초파 그리로 띵고 가르스나 아니 시도 얘도 공화질 텔레 셀레 가위가 아니 땅에가 니 로시 쳐대고 로코로니 중보지래 돼요 말했어.
So now, the reason why we need to overcome the attachment or the desires for the sensual pleasures or sensory objects. So it's because if we have a close look at the nature of the desire or attachment, then we will understand that it is the desire or the attachment as a mental factor or as a state of mind. It's a deluded one, it's a mistaken one, and also we can understand that it can also, if we are overpowered by this desire attachment, then we can face and great difficulties, great sufferings, and so as to the desire in terms of the nature as a state of mind. So the desire is desire or the attachment is as I said, is a delusions because the way it perceives its objects through desires, to the way we perceive the object. So is really in contradict, not in accord with the realities of that object, the way the object is. So rather, there is with the desire, we perceive the objects in an exaggerated way.
penangazi mutaji nyowa ina sabaji nyowa ina mutatela ni chapa chembo yeba tezoji kol chapa tigi tune kol ngaja tezoji lego ani ngaja ile sona ni muta menge se kro ta tele chowa tsole tongchu lego tsole tongchu shi ona je chapa te chapa jezo chewa tezoji ni tel sena lego sena chiuji le sona ni tel muta tel lapa chongye da ji chitese shunoni control go tel tene control go 제자 ngaja sena control su po chaso ni decho digo chongding go so ne yores.
So let's take an example of the some of our like attachment, strong attachment to a to a car or to motor vehicles, and so how the if the attachment is very strong, then we can also because of these attachments, and we can also feel the bit of pride in ourselves, the elevated ourselves with a bit of pride, and then how with the pride, then we can easily look down upon other peoples. And likewise, because of the attachment, then we would have the the miserliness or will arise with regard to the object of the attachment, and then then how someone who's very attached to the car, very possessive of the car, then how he can easily get angry if there's someone else even slightly touch the car, or let her forget about someone who trying to get into the car, then you can get hatred. So how the attachment can serve as a cause to arise like a pride, miserliness, of course, and then the anger and so forth.
Tenojireta, the control ishesona, social control ishesona, Nessa tombote sosorede. Soso se shidete tuisare, that the controtic. And this was the same shipas of her. Tenoji ngato, Nijichi Sereum. Nijeshe on a pasual pet nigger Mumboji sono court. Shutilla pasu pengret, Hinayo, Pemba tombote social pengiore. Kaisena pasual Nije Shesona, so sembate, Yenomena, Shedene Tokoro. Tema tombote, and the social pengores.
And so the if you let the anger to arise within us, then how this can immediately destroy our own mental peace, mental happiness. So we will become really the first victim of the anger that we generate, and on the other hand, how instead of anger, if we cultivate compassions for other beings, then how even though it looks like a compassion is directed towards others and to benefit them, to others, but in fact the one who generated compassion become the first kind of the recipients of the benefit of the compassion. That is to how that the moment that compassion arises, so the person who generated compassion then can really experience the peace and happiness within himself or herself. So it is there's not only benefiting other, but compassion is a greatly benefit oneself.
제장아 네 파쇼라 니제 지도시와 대전지 네 소소 생라 시대다 아니 대화 용 거야. 당가서 생 대화 질래서나 다 대화 체슈 데려와. 마도 셰 당가서 지주노라 드니 몽보지 리토게야 셰요리 리토게야 셰데 메자로다고다 콤반다고다 못한다고다 니지가 계시 되는 지요 말에 될 초파들 리토고 그래서네 드니시고요래.
So therefore there's the overcoming the attachment. So is very important. It's very important, and it's necessary for in order to overcome or to reduce sufferings and to bring more peace and happiness for oneself, and especially how with the by overcoming attachment, how this can bring the happiness on our mental level, and that is really the if you talk about the different types of happiness, or the different type of happiness or the joy that arise, and then the one that which we experience on the mental level, which is not so much depending on the outer condition, but rather it arises on the mental level by simply overcoming the mental, some afflictive emotions within us, and in fact that form of happiness is the supreme one, and so for all these reasons, so the focus here is to not have the attachment to the mental attachment to the joy of cyclic existence, and so not talking about the, not so much emphasis is not really on the getting rid of all the external objects, material objects.
대응 배는 가서티 첼리동 아니 체지요 이거 조지 제마 바생이들이 아니 콜라 제메요래 부고요래 지침보래 이는 그 첼리동이 아니 지바야 보지 아니 강가로 인지 지고 제정안에 기건이 지침보서 지침보수 아니 지도 야 수자디살 그네니 비유도발라 반도 주소가 기겐체 아니 니 칼레모 보자 테모 모몬도 아니 치실더니 지고 이네 다 고제치모리 간제 아니 부고요래 공부요래 때 이네요 아니 이게 셀리 동안 가와요 말했기
비유 가서
봐요
마바 비유 들어서
비유 네발리 아다 치시도 기게체가 아니 테마 düğün jet wan rodo
so to give you the example of someone who have really completely renounced the joy of samsara or the cyclic existence, and yet who's enriched with all the material the wealth, material objects, so would be a perfect one. Such perfect example is a great Laga Marpa, who was well known as one of the great practitioners, who had completely renounced the world. And yet, if we look at his life stories, he did had a wife, he had children, and he was very wealthy. And despite all this, his wealth and all that, he was at the same time he was a great practitioner, and such that in his biography he even took traveled to Nepal even 7 to 8 times in search of his spiritual spiritual teacher.
다때 뒤는 로디 잘하니 단다 노지가 노드는 요마레 모타는 요마레 아니 공바자거라 롱가 때오니 노세다니 강리다니 tani chuchu pa dene rogo isa chezegi pa mbogji pa ta puge nepal le chadi chala ya tani so gegede ya tan de yor seji yo mare ani no se te chala nyama mo botni tsene ani tani ale kale jagaji re ta solani sel itune ta so tsetel chapa ma che wache ani tani zola kale jago re sarwa
So we also have to remember that in those days, so there was no transport of aeroplanes or the vehicles. So so you can imagine that Mapa made so many trips to Nepal all on foot, and not only that, before getting to Nepal, so he had to cross many mountains and so much forests, and then there are also great in those journey. So I have to have to face a threat, a danger from the wild animals and so forth, and then even at the end, even when he reached to the Nepal, it's not like he could navigate to find the teacher easily, but rather than he have to really struggle very hard, go all over the places to find his teachers. So the fact that was he was so able to endure all this hardship in his practice. So these are all the indications that that his how the mentally that he had given up all the pleasure the worldly existence.
제상아 네 드니서 페디살라 은타 제제데 지바트서 데츠라파나 그러와 드니 무춘주든지 비 벤지바트니 첨보했어 네발이 산소도발 무춘주 처음저 되겠더니 쉬워요르시기도 나니 너마다 가서 용디살라 다 네발이 산소도발 누이세는 가서 루파트 좀 무시기도 되기는 닌 도마소 이나용이 제는 세라네 동수 간지 지날라나 세라는 가서 쇼루지요레 코드니 사자테 주네 먹일래레 젤 먹일래 차두살라 아니 따빠르시 응고나듯이 되기리 다 가서디 다 다가신 거나 있어서는 평콘을 못 버티리 다 팅에레 텔데 지리요와 세도지 그저야 기우트돼요 젤 드립 주 평음인데 젤 니마치로 코티 나기노네 나마 뻐그러다 나마 슈치 못해지 살뭐 지나 니나 지대리 침보들이 트론제 되기들이 대지는 고테오 트로스 다팀 버테 가원을 해서 그저 롱고 산사도 와는 기지잖아 아니 다 뉴크도 와 있는 나누는 언제야 서로 드니 이사르다 기 세라는 버테 동수
and in fact the worse than the the wild danger of the wild animals. So in the Geshe was saying that the in the areas between from Tibet to Nepal, so there were some kind of really very like some kind of like a bugs, which can get into yourself, and then the person then he would will actually sucks all the bloods and all the eats up the organs from inside and then kills. And that was quite a very he heard about that a lot, but he was never sure until then one day there was one monk in Sera in South India. So there was one who started with a bit of headache, and in fact our Tsering also knew that case. And then one day he suddenly he when he blew out his nose, then some sort of bug came out, two of them. So and then they found that he got this from the journey, from Tibet to Nepal. So you could imagine. So there was so much dangers in those days, to making journeys.
테노지가 딱 센델 쳐봐 맞힌 센델 리동에 맞춰 제시 조지 아니 자주 담바침 뭐 자가서 잔서 콩을 아니 다 유산은 제 포로마 불주에 배즈보 침보 제 자소요 아니 다 주체면은 배외가 잡어를 되니까 이나야 아니 거라고 수행하지는 거라고 수행했잖아 다 지기 넣었는데 그런 것도 저 간가 롱시고 롱시고 그랬대 이나요 그러고 니디 이 썸바질다 지기 넣었는데 뭐또 매송 드니sun 게 그러비 이네 따뜻을 잡아요 말에 그때 되니라 아니 젠들리 동물이스네 다 용도비 세이죠 드니세 돼요 그래서
대상적으로
자고 계속 자서
dum바로
dum바
then the another very well-known example of someone who have who's been well known for being a very famous and very rich, but yet is the have gained a true sense of like a renunciations of the worldly life is the seventh the Dalai Lamas His Holiness Gyaltsang Gyaltso. So who, of course, he where he lived in the the Potalas, top of the Potalas palace and majestic Potalas, and then he was the head or almost like the king of the whole Tibet, and then it was very well known that he personally he felt that the only thing that he possessed, that he considered that as is his own, are the three robes of the three like monk's robes. Those are the only thing that he considered as his personal possessions.
제상 아주 초파티거니 가세 지 초파 추첨부 예와 대존지 아니 소선 대화마 공예 아니 드릴려게서 가르치나 별로는 계신 뱀생이죠 그 끝에 매라 아니 집앞에 보시 차에서 근데 그런 거 순서처럼 그 아니 로춘주가라비 저 다슈에다 면다커 드네존 로디살라니 로디살라야 드라마 보여서 네 제마타 코로나 농 미트서 가르치나 하면서 코로나 지폴라야 아니 신가 빼침부터리 yes 디디살라니 다 니메가라니 신가나올레니 릉고도 잘했다 데시 문용주도 잘했다 제라고 다 저는 변조도 초 아니 세나도로 네 미다 녀주도 잘 그마도 자 드니 로고에 데 이내야 디디살라야 데지 소화대 깨도도 나오지 레디에서 다 세멜고 네 칩 제자이 아니 고 소화라 강했지만 고 드라우지만 됐어 아니 그런 것들이 순고야 그래서
and then also the how if we look into the life story of the great master Geshe the as a Bengunju
Geshe Bemsing
Bengunjus. So, which also gives some indication of how, in that life story, it says Geshe Bengunju, in his early part of his life, he was a very notorious like a thief, and he always, he like a great, he always had a horse, riding on the horse, and always carried his knife with him, and also he did own some sort of, like a farming land, and during the day in an area, but he's always very in the area. During the day, he always been, the bullying all the other people, and then at night he go and robbed the other people. And then later on he gave up all that, and then he really lived as a true practitioner. And he said that when he compared that the level of his mental peace and happiness that in his early life, where he did own a fair amount of his wealth and his influence on other and so forth, But on the latter part, where he given up everything, but live as a pretty much like a like a mendicant, like a practitioner, and he says that the peace and the happiness is far much greater in when he has given up all this worldly the pursuit, worldly concern, and he said that he found more peace, more happiness, more satisfaction within himself.
제장안에 다 제지 동보대가 고백이 대화 세나다 소제지 대화리 시단에 진료시에다 지위등하시고 다 뜻절하니 론존론조 때모메 비근 저와지 대화 이나요 네다 때모메에 대화지 인자 네 제지 동보대라 드니 대화들은 저바시다 마지세 저바 다 마징이지 그거래서 다 제지 동보대 되래서
So now, okay, we've been talking about the first qualities of the suitable listener that should have is not being attached, not being attached to the as it says to the joys of cyclic existence. So these joys, as we said, is really referring to the suffering of change. Is one of the three types of sufferings, and so now one of the important reason why we should not be attached to such a joy of cyclic existence is because it is very the impermanent or very transient in nature's loss.
다 제진이빠데 다나 맞고 토데 물린다. 물린데니 짜침모도 대침모인 바 수솔로 원체 비고네. 아니 디그티네니 원체 비고네 아니야. 다 개월절라니 아니 젠디셰 버지 그거레스 젠디도 대마시 그거레스. 제진이빠데 되니시 그.
And now the second qualities which as he says, one who strive to make meaningful this life of leisure and opportunities. So one a suitable listener should be should be someone who recognize the meaning, preciousness, and the meaning of this life, and as well as then have the intention or the aspirations to make an effort to achieve, to accomplish that the purpose or the meaning of life.
되니서 빼나가 저기 다 세도 나불라서 바자치 뭐 소소를 했는데 자치 뭐 임바 소소 배치 또 타와이나 아니 다 나부티가 나비가 고치고 그러와 다때 자치 뭐 임바 하마거나 아니 나부티가 다 고자치 뭐 임바 배매로다 자치 뭐티가 고치고 말해 어때노시고 그래 가서 물린데요 단조 쪼제도 되면 아니 멀리네니 짜치 모임바 아니 원체비티네 대소 그거래세 저어떤 리스다.
Yes. So as the relating to that second quality of the listeners, so the listeners must recognize and appreciate the preciousness of this the human life of leisure and opportunity or the enjoyment. So because this is as important as like if you have found a precious jewel, then you must, in order to make best use of that, first you must recognize that what you have found is a precious jewel. But otherwise, if you don't recognize it, then of course, then it is almost like same as of not having it. So, so therefore, it's important that that listener, suitable listener, is one who recognize the preciousness of this human life of leisure and endowment, which is which is qualified by like 18 the qualities.
다 제지 선바되는 지 선바티 되는데 자와지 빌롬 다 년주 현주 주세 네 돈이 또 비따와서라 이치에 버지 그거래서 어디시요?
And then the third quality of the suitable listener, as says here in third line, and one who places their trust in the path that pleases the conquerors. So it's the third one is to someone who have someone who has faith, like a convictions, faith in the like this renunciation, bodhicitta, and the wisdom of emptiness.
제자다 지지 선보대도 또 댐비니 다 고조티거니 다 니치디야 보니해슈 세네 시와디가 되다 수용도 레퍼 니해슈 수용요래 다 니해 생에텔라니 같이 네 시에서 보는 니해슈 세네 드니세고레스.
So, and then the last line of this verse, when it says, "O fortunate ones, listen with an open heart." So this the "O fortunate ones," so this refer to the to those who are the who possesses the above mentioned three attributes, and then when it says listen with an open heart, so when the word listen with an open heart, so that word indicates to indicate that to be a good listeners, you should be free of the three faults of the listeners, or three faults of the poets.
제자는 같이 녀서 보는 예수스는 녀서 때라 년뒤자라니 다 뭐라 년에 제치도 된 선도 된잖아 년에 그네 다용 뭐젬벌 젬바도는 고인데네 만년은 비네 내가 카부네 뒤로 칠려 주주리 네 카부네 칠리데나 제때 논 내디가 논 로고 말아 대자 고 치랄 예나요 기지 시에데나 고 나온 로고 말아 다기 안주는 로고요 말아 드니 매무체 그래서 계세기 야지 대근에 안주노 지년대와 이나요 아니 마음도산에 아니 제소나 잠바때 뭐 맞춰왔지 제소나 아니 에다 내가 아니 샤 뷰딩에 지는 칠리데나 치마종에도 집어래 그 배치요 말아와서 아니야 지년대와라 샘발 저거에나요 요내 드마치스 내가 놀이 드마 뭐에 뛰는 친구말나 친구마테오 드마치르네 그러고 되는지가 아다 야 시에자딩에 소다보다 아니 수수야 보따제 마치네 드니가 아니 마치네니 네 드마체 살아서바 거네 마임비 거네니 야 보니에쇼세 네 드니 순거요 그래서
so to getting rid of these the three faults of a pot, so it's very the essential to be a good listeners. So like for example, like even though you one may possess all the about three mentioned qualities, but then when you actually hear about the teachings, or when you actually studying the teachings, so if your mind is just distracted towards or by some some other external objects, something else, then if you, because of the distractions, the outer distractions, then you won't be able to hear the teachings. So, in another word, nothing will go into your ear, or about the teachings, and so which is like called as the it's like one of the fault of a pot, which is a pot which is kept upside down. Then you can't, if you pour water, it won't hold any water at all. So nothing will, if the listener's mind is distracted, then nothing will go into the he or she won't hear the teachings. And so likewise, then the second one, even though so you are not distracted, and but you hear the teachings, you learn about the teaching. But however, if you forget about the teachings, soon after, if you become very forgetful, then again, you won't be able to retain your learning inside in yourself. So no matter how much you hear about, you learn about, but you won't be able to remember. You won't be able to hold the knowledge within yourself. So this is like a pot with a hole in the bottom, where even if you put whatever water you put in, but you all leaks out from the bottom. And then finally, it's also important to ensure that you are free from the fault of the pot with the filth, with the stain inside. So here, you're talking about the not being your mental attitude is not being stained by any wrong mental attitude, such as if your attitude, your motivation is to of hearing, of learning the teaching, is to see the fault, is to that you want to follow, you want to see how good is that your teacher is, and if that's where you are directed, and then you won't learn anything. So rather, it shows you're not really utilizing your own analytical mind. So rather, you are fixed in just looking for some fault in the of the speakers. So like that, we've got to ensure that the motivation or our mental attitude is not the stains loss.
Tatane sunsa tati inche gani daja nginzu wa sikite sunsamare. Tati gula ni tando diso sunsamare rwa. Ane ti gula ta yungi ta katsuti ndote kasala karishege isi korisi ngenju shonju senyu topi tawa shege isi ta tane mango chuni shege gore yungi chepa tela sanche. Ni ngenju shonju chi senyu topi tawa asirwa. Ta tombo ngenju la ni ngenju tsogiwi jinse. Ani jinse teto demi ngenju shevi ka ta. Ani ta tela tene ni ngenju shevi ka tse sene. Ani tene sache sangu ne. Ani tene maa she shandiwis.
So this briefly explain the suitable, about a suitable a listener to these teachings, and so now what follow now is the more the detailed explanations of these the three principal paths, like renunciation, bodhicitta, and the wisdom of emptiness, which was briefly mentioned in the previous verse, where we give a summary there. So now from the next line, then the text goes on in detail about these three principles. So of which the first one is the renunciation. So you will find the explanation about the why we need to cultivate renunciations, and then the how, how we can cultivate the renunciations, and then after following those methods to cultivating renunciation, then to knowing how the degree or the measurement of having generated the renunciations. No. So we nearly finished the time. So we're going to leave the teaching here, and now from the previous teaching, so we have received one questions. So the question is that how could I best explain the Guru devotion to a non-Buddhist? That the nangba mayenge ni yoro na che ke milinga di shi go sa.
Ta nangba mun ke mun ta tni inza ta ngare samba chena ta shita yune la ani nangba kem chim ke maling de di jagur se ne chi yo mare. Te ngare chena ne ta kasi giwishinyi shi bi katula ni ta shita ne giwishinyi gun chenyi la so pa mo bu sun jo ire ti ina yo kanje man do dune ta ti se del pa pi ani ta tni gun chenyi de ma maro na ani roje ni le ani ta marita xian du ye de ni no ne la ye de che wa shi ta ani chen de shi ni no ne la che shima zo zo ngi shi ta ani su su ta loma te la ni ni wa ta ani loma te la je ge ye de de koro ta loma te le ju ni ta shi ze to wa ani tni ge chi chi ye xie xiong de wa ta ko chi ta chi ke chi ke ma le na xie wa nga je to ke leng ge ji ma le tni ta che shima da chen de ni zo shima zo ge se de pa do ne ani ta xian du ye de ge ni nu ne ye de che wa shi da ani so loma te la ni ni wa shi da ani loma la je ge chi de ne loma te le ta pe la ta sho sho shi tni ge ta chi chi son de ni shi na tni ge se chu men ro na tni na ting du s ra
me tuwa de xing de zu le ha ya xing de zu jo ra xing de su dang zo ji yo ra zo nam ju ji so wi na le dang kan ka su mo du su ro nam ju de shi yi zo de ko chen de gang ye de de tuwa de ne yu do ko
ale de le go
de la go zo do
ale
me le de xing de zu se ro
ya ta te dong ye de ka zu ngma ne xu chai ba de xing de zhe ge ne chi da su ge xi yu mo tu zu wa ji se ne nga zo xing de zhe na su tu na wo che ge ye si de se ne de ni chi song ya ta te ho do ni de zhen to ya tong bi ge ni xing de zhe ge ka tu re ta su de ni de ta na to ya po ro ba ina ya di nge le ta su ge mni pa ji na zo ge ma re se xing de cha na ya ani su ge che mo to ya ina ani xing de ge ji shu se na zo ge yo ma re jil de re de ni da wa no la mi sa yo re su ge che mo ta nga de ge wi xing de ge ka no su na che mo go ya de ni da we mi sa re ani lor che mo no ka su yo se na xing de ge ni che mo ge wi shu la en ju se su na ani ten ju ge yo ma re tel nye pa yo ma re mi sa re ina ya 아니 게 신이티고 콜는데 일라 수선이니 텔라 니 마데바도 마가와더니 마존의 야그레스 신이지 댄서와 마존의 야그레스 드니 그 로르치문의 수정되와 진짜 아니 저라도 낸 것을 지지 말에
So first, I think we covered that in the one of the preceding teachings. So where the descriptions of our spiritual teachers. So which of course, if we put in a very like a few lines, then we can put the whole qualifications of the description of the spiritual teacher into 4, which I said 4. That is to ensure that whoever we rely upon as a spiritual teacher, so has more admirable or excellent qualities, then the have more like a fault or the shortcomings. Downsides, and then that's the one. And the number 2 is to someone who is more concerned about the future life, rather than simply concerned is more concerned about this or to this current life, only this current life only, and then 3rd, someone who have close feelings, some caring sense of care, who have some sense of like a lovingness or loving care towards the students, and then 4th is to at least to whoever we rely on. As a spiritual teacher should have more knowledge about this spirituality, more knowledge about spiritual dharma than the students, because otherwise the student cannot develop any further learnings. So these are just in summaries that the teacher should have, and then now, as to the question of the guru devotions, like you find in some texts where the student, once you establish someone as your guru, then you must be even follow that, even if more than your own life, and so these kind of instruction is really relates to a guru and student relationship that is existed in a very high level of spiritual training, such as in the secret mantra path and so forth. But in generally speaking, so there's also there's a source where it is said that it is not necessary that to, as part of the one's guru devotion or the relying upon the guru, that you must be fulfilling all the expectations of your gurus. So, for example, there's a text which says that if the guru advise you to do some things, but which you are not capable of, or you are not able to fulfill it because you lack the resources or lack the capacity, then it says that it is exceptions, that it calls no. In another word, it doesn't, even if you don't fulfill that because of your lack of your capacities, so it doesn't doesn't harm your guru devotion practice. So likewise, if it is there's in fact in the Lamrim text where there's an instruction which says that in fact if what the guru says to you is, if you believe it is to you to committing any like a negative actions or something like a non-virtuous actions, then it is in the Lamdam teaching it says that then you should not do that. You should not commit that action because you believe that as a non-virtuous, even if Guru says you to do that. And but however, by even though you're not following that Guru's advice because you believe it is not the right actions, but because of that, because of your disagreement with Guru, it is, however, it is said that you should not make that situation to cause one to decrease faith and decrease your minimize your respect and regard to the Guru. So this is my answer, but not sure whether that really satisfied the whoever asked that questions. But regardless, so but I would like to thank you for the who bring that question.
Yeah, that
So we leave it here. Thank you.